You're listening to Fresh Air Community Radio, KFAI 90.3 FM Minneapolis and 106.7 FM St. Paul, radio without boundaries. I'm your host, Rajib, and once in a while I play a few web projects here and there, and you may have heard me in Shangam radio, thanks to their co-host Ahmed. I play Bangla music there whenever my time permits. Anyway, now back to our program. The next piece is going to be an interview one, like I said, and it's an interview of Tim Eiler and Jason Strait. Tim Eiler is a project manager in the local IT industry, and he has decades of experience in project management. And Jason Strait is an enterprise-grade consultant for Digineer, and his expertise is on SQL Server arena. And to those of us who don't know what SQL Server is, it's a relational database management system, and there are many vendors out there such as Oracle, Microsoft, Sybase, and you name it. And of course, there are open source one, MySQL, PostgreSQL. The list could go on and on. Anyway, I had a chance to chat up with them to learn what's going on in the industry and how project management or SQL Server and cloud computing are being doled out at this time in the industry. So I hope you enjoy it, and feel free to let me know what you think of it. And you can always call in our studio, and the number in the studio is 612-341-0980. So let's listen to that interview. What is project management, and how is it different in the IT industry and projects involving SQL Server?
Project management in general is the organization of work and all of the attendant aspects, such as making sure that people are available when they need to be, knowing how much they're going to be available, identifying risks that may cause problems to getting the work done, managing to a budget, all those kinds of things. Project managers would say that project manager is managing to the quadruple constraint, which is essentially 4 things that essentially define what a project is: the schedule, the budget, the scope, of course, and also then managing stakeholder satisfaction.
Great.
The overall intent is to make things get unchaotic and get work done.
That sounds good. Jason, as an enterprise consultant, how do you see project management helping you in your SQL Server space?
Mostly it's just a way to keep everything organized, to keep priorities set, to make sure that we're going towards the end goal in the appropriate fashion versus in the this is the squeaky wheel fashion, and let's just take care of it and get it going.
Mm-hmm.
From my perspective, project management is really critical in getting stuff done in a timely fashion, and then also making sure that the 80% that is really critical gets done.
You're also an active blogger. Can you tell me a little bit about your blog? Is it straightsql.com?
It used to be straightsql.com. It's now jasonstrait.com. I've kind of been moving it around. Mostly it's just the thoughts and summaries of issues that I work on when I'm out at clients. So recently I went out and had to deal with some deadlocking events that I'd never seen before, so I just kind of put up a summary of all of those, and then the details on how I observed the issue and then how I resolved the issue.
Mm-hmm.
And when I first started blogging, it was mainly just a place for me to save things that I thought were interesting so that I could go and find them later, kind of my own little online directory. And then from there, it's just really grown into bringing up new technology things that I see and work with, issues that I solve, and then scripts that I think other people will find useful.
Mm-hmm. So it's like your own personal library so that you can easily find things, correct?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Cool. Tim, do you blog about your project management challenges or anything in general?
I do not blog at the moment. I'm trying to get into the habit of doing it. The hardest part for me is finding the time to actually get everything set up and then take the time to write every day.
I will admit that that's the hard part that everyone runs into.
Mm-hmm. the timing is the issue?
Oh, yeah, the timing. The ideas are easy. I've got 22 pages worth of ideas sitting in front of me right now.
Mm-hmm.
Getting it all put out and written up, that's really 3-4 months worth of content that if I sat down and typed it all out, that I would be covered for.
Now, lately we've been hearing a lot about cloud computing, and when I initially started looking into cloud computing, I had the misconception that it was something like distributed computing, or I had a lot of things here and there. But what is cloud computing, and what is SQL Azure as it relates to cloud computing in your world?
Well, cloud computing is basically moving services up to the internet so that they're not hosted on local machines. It's basically just an extension of current ISP hosting. Quite often, people will set up go up to have an ISP that will host their application. When you're hosting an application in the cloud, the ISP will basically decide what resources you get, where you put it, how to distribute it across their environment. So it's less work on your end in maintaining and managing the servers. You're still doing all the application development and pushing that out into the cloud. And they're just making sure that they meet, from a hardware perspective, all of your service requirements. That's a really boiled down nutshell version of what it is. From SQL Azure perspective, it's basically being able to take a SQL database that you currently have and push it straight up into an ISP hosted solution that would be hosted in the quote unquote cloud, which is just ISP hosting. There's a lot of more technical pieces to it. So if you have more clients that are coming in from India and or coming in from Europe, a lot of the cloud ISPs, what they'll end up doing is shifting your data and your applications over to that part of the cloud, and that way they're able to get faster service. They're able to get their stuff completed, in a better and timely fashion. Can you educate me a little bit about SQL Azure? Sure. SQL Azure, it's basically Microsoft's solution to a cloud database. Their first SQL data services that they had put out a couple years ago was basically a name value pair database where you had a bucket and you would just put all of your data into it. It was a good first attempt, and it was what a lot of application developers were looking for from a application standpoint, but from a database and consistency standpoint, it made it very difficult to take an existing application and just move it to the cloud, because in traditional relational databases,